Hi and welcome back to Cricket Insights. India winning the test at the Wanderers overnight with an excellent win and brilliant bowling in the final innings of that test. John, your thoughts on the third test?
I think it was a brilliant comeback by India. They could have just so easily rolled over. It's a dead rubber. People would say nothing much to play for even if they win the test. But they came out fighting, saying, we got to salvage our pride. We are the number one team. Let's show what we're made of. And to be fair to India, they did compete in the previous two tests. They just came on all firing, and a pitch served up to them, which is by far the toughest pitch. Even Michael Holding used some very unflavorable terms to describe the pitch, so did Gavaskar. But they came out and they showed a lot of guts and determination. Virat Kohli won the toss and chose to bat first, which nobody would have thought of with the pitch being a first day pitch, seaming and swinging and some overcast conditions. You think against a South African pace attack he would bowl first. So they were gutsy. They fought it out. Virat played a pretty good innings in the first innings, played really fluently, looked good. Pujara was really slow, but he also gusted it out over there. So it was a really good performance, but then they fell away. South Africa came back strongly, and India were definitely at a below par score of 187, but they came back brilliantly to knock out South Africa with just affording them a 7-run lead. I think that was one of the biggest turning points. And then India capitalized on it with a good batting performance in the second innings. I thought they really, really took the blows very manfully, didn't complain and just got on with it. Vijay batted for a long time. So did Kohli. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar had a good all-round performance in the match, contributed down the order. So I think India, this was the real India that people wanted to see right from the outset. And this was the India which turned up, and they were deserving winners in the end. So I think it was a great plus for them, and the bowlers have been superb all series. So I think the big takeaway of how India came back was even in the last innings when Amla and Elgar were on a roll, they didn't lose heart. They played the waiting game, and they knew that it was a matter of time. One wicket and they would get in bunches, and 9 for 53, South Africa's last 9 wickets. So I think kudos to India, and it was a brilliant fight back by them.
Yeah, it was an excellent win. South Africa, even from their own admission, they were poor in that first innings. They dropped a couple of catches that you wouldn't expect from them. But like you said, kudos to India. They really performed well. And when it got to one for, what were they, about 1 for 120 or 1 for 130 odd, and then to take those wickets in a clump. And it was just excellent bowling, just targeted the stumps. Shami bowled well, the other bowlers bowled well, and it was a deserved win in the end.
Absolutely. And in the end, one person I forgot to mention, Ajinkya Rahane, a real gutsy 48 in the second innings when people said he didn't deserve the place. He was not in form, but he showed what a little bit of determination and guts can do over an informed Rohit Sharma. So, we have to salute him because it was his partnership with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and with Kohli initially which gave India that good total that they could. The bowlers had something to fight.
Just going on Rahane, now he wasn't picked for the first two tests. Just getting your overall summation of India this series. What do you think? Because it was great they won the third test, but overall, success, failure, how big a failure, what would you rate this series?
Well, if I had to rate it, they were definitely their pluses, but the downside was much higher. Number one, as you mentioned right from the preview, preparation. I think the board has to have a longer term vision. The Indian board is the richest, so schedule tours with enough practice games, because better preparation, better selection, the scoreline could have been entirely different. It could have been 1-all. India could have even snuck in 2-1, because let's be honest, South Africa's batting was nothing to write home about, despite having an Amla, a De Villiers, a Faf and a Quinton de Kock in home conditions. They were upstaged more often than the sheer brilliance of AB kept their noses in front all through the series, and some dogged batting by Faf and of course Amla, and in the end Elgar also proving his worth. But they were by no means the superior batting side like everybody would have believed them to be in home conditions. So I think India's a little more preparation, and India, it could have been a different story altogether. I think the biggest plus for me, the bowlers. Before this series, I stand corrected. I said India would take 20 wickets just once in the series. They've taken all 60 wickets. And I think kudos to them, whichever bowler came and performed. It's a shame that Yadav did not get a look in, because I think if he did, I think he would have given a lot of firepower to this Indian attack. And people can say you can't fault Shami or Bumrah or Ishant Sharma. They all performed well, so would he drop? But I just think Umesh Yadav being there on these tracks would have given a different dimension to the attack.
Yeah,
More than just medium pace, some real quick bowling at their throats.
I agree with that. I reckon the selection was India's biggest downfall in this series. I think they got it wrong in every test. And Rahane not playing, and I know he came into the series with poor form, but I just think a player who's done the job overseas, more than once, had to play. And I think that was proven to be a big failure. I would have played Yadav. I think on these pitches, especially in the first and third test, he would have given plenty. And I think Shastri and Kohli just got it all wrong in each test. Even in this last test, playing 5 pacemen, I just can't understand it. Both teams playing 5 pacemen. I really don't understand how you can't win a test with 4 pacemen and then get your extra batsman in there. Pandya and the South African fifth bowler, they didn't do anything, bat or ball. So what's the point of them being there? You might as well get an extra batsman who's going to supply important runs. So I thought both teams' selections were poor.
I don't mind the fifth bowler option. I'm all for it because it's an aggressive intent. But my problem, and you correctly mentioned, is 5 seam bowlers. I know it's a seam attack, but maybe a spinner could just add a little more variety, because you had Pandya as a backup fifth bowler, so you could have had some spin in Ashwin or Jadeja just to give that variety. And it's again, the batsman might think, okay, we can take it a bit easy, get a wicket there. But all said and done, the bowlers took all the wickets over here, all the pace bowlers, so people can't fault that too much. But the batting was clearly shown up by a batsman short, especially on a track as treacherous as the Wanderers was. Well, coming back to India's batting, I think there's a concern on a two-prong scenario. I think the openers, M. Vijay and Rahul, they have all the talent in the world, but they need to step up their mental game. They get their 20s or 10s or 15s looking solid for a long haul, and then they just give it away. I think they need to tighten up, and they have to be mentally there for the long haul, saying, we're the openers, we give India a solid foundation. They are both brilliant batsmen. M. Vijay is 34, he should have really stepped up his mental game by now. Rahul is still 24, so he's 10, but they both need to set up their mental game, take it to a different level like Kohli has, and just be there for the long haul. The other thing is India's one-drop batsman Pujara. He's a gun player, has the technique, temperament, but he needs to show a lot more intent. And if you notice over here, people say he got run out and he got 2 snorters from Morocco, which is a fair comment. But I watched it closely yesterday. I said I kind of found out Pujara's problem on overseas tours. Like any Indian batsman, his trigger movement is usually on the front foot, and that's what's getting him in trouble. So what happens is, because the bounce is low in India, you can get on the front foot even if it's a new ball, drive or defend. What happens here, he's already on the front foot and he gets very low. He doesn't just get on the front foot, he gets very low. So if the ball takes it from a good length, he's already low and it just takes a glove. So he cannot respond in time. So I think that's a part. If you look at Rahane, he's just the opposite. He plays on the back foot very well. Kohli plays on the back foot. They hold their position. They have a very minute trigger movement, but they hold their position as still as possible, which Pujara needs to sort out. I think if they get these 3 or 4 things knuckled out, I think India's batting can thrive overseas. So that would be their batting. And the fielding, as I mentioned, they need to catch properly. They let a few sitters go at very crucial times, where the South African tail rallied, Kagiso Rabada, Avandan Philander, De Villiers and all getting the runs. I think they need to really catch better.
Just on Pujara, if India go to England and expect Kohli to do all the work again, like if the other 4 or 5 top order batsmen don't perform, they're going to lose again. You can't have your top order 7 for 90 in the first test. Second test was not much better. If that happens again, England are going to win. So that needs to be sorted out. Pujara, like you said, and the 2 openers, they need to get India off to better starts.
Right. What do you think about South Africa? How do you think they did it?
South Africa, I mean, well done, winning the series, but they've got improvement in them. I think their bowlers did a good enough job. Philander was excellent, and good support too from their other bowlers. But their batting, I think, is a little bit brittle. I think it's a bit brittle at the top. Makram didn't impress me in this series. Elgar sort of came good at the end without doing anything too much. De Villiers played those 2 crucial knocks and sort of took the test matches away from India. And De Kock was very disappointing. He can't bat at 6 and average 11 in a 3-test series. So Australia, and when Australia come and you've got a bowler like Mitchell Starc who's going to clean up your tail, or a good chance of cleaning up your tail, You can't be having your 6 failing and a long tail like that. There's a bit of work they need to do. Otherwise, Australia's going to come and beat them.
Right.
To be frank.
And to add to your point, De Villiers failed in this one Test match, and the batting just collapsed. So he did not play a crucial role in either innings, and they just rolled over. So again, a bit too much dependence on him, and Amla did fight it out in both the innings. But if both teams keep looking at their star batsmen in Kohli or De Villiers and they fail, and nobody else puts up a resistance, I think both have that to work out. Like you mentioned, South Africa's bowling top notch. The batting really needs to further look, because Australia's attack, you mentioned Stark, let's not forget the other 3 who are coming. Cummins, right. Hazelwood, and whoever the 4th bowler is. So there's enough, I think it's Richardson. So I think there's got enough firepower. So they need to really work out the chinks in the armour, especially playing at home.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what wickets they dish up for Australia.
Yes.
Because
Backfire.
the green wickets, it makes for entertaining cricket.
Right.
There's always something happening, but I think they won't make it as green when Australia get there.
Oh, wait.
And it'd just be interesting to see, because I'd like to see these fast type of wickets, but and we certainly don't want a dead wicket like the second Test, but it'll be interesting to see what they dish up. Just moving on then, we've got a one-day series happening. England have won it 3-1 in Australia. Any thoughts on that one?
I think Australia's just saving face now. If they can pull it back to 3-2, it'll be just a little redemption for them, but nothing much at stake in this year. I think it'll be pretty disappointing from an Australian point of view after they so solidly won the series. Your thoughts about the Australian performance? What is wrong with the Australian one-day team? It's been like this for some time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you got Warner performing at the top, it's going to just get everything happening. They have had a few good performances from Aaron Finch, but it just hasn't clicked overall. I don't know. England have come in with fresh players, have done well, and look, they've deserved their victory.
Will it just be a long season getting to them?
Actually, it could be. If you look at players like Smith and Warner who haven't performed, you tend to think that maybe just such a long season, big Test series coming up, the focus might be away. But it's hard to really find too much fault in losing one-day series these days. The Test series with the Ashes in South Africa, I think the focus is on that. So, I'm sure the inner circles will be disappointed with the loss, but I don't think the fans will be too much.
I think also maybe after being so keyed up the entire Test series, it's difficult to maintain that kind of intent and that kind of drive over a one-day series, because it might have taken a lot of players, like you mentioned, a Warner, a Smith. So they're like, they got the job done. We won the Ashes. Now the one-day series, even though it's important, I think on the energy level they might be suffering. Like you mentioned, England got fresh players, so they're keyed up just for the one-day series. So I guess that's it. And the big one happening in the rest of the cricket world, the Under-19 World Cup. Yeah. Big semi-finals coming up.
Yeah,
right?
Well, India-Pakistan, you can't get any bigger than that in cricket. And Australia versus Afghanistan, and it's just great to see Afghanistan in the semi-final.
Absolutely. I mean, that would be a dream if Afghanistan actually hoodwink all of them and just sneak away with the title. I think that'll be a shot in the arm for Afghanistan cricket. They've done brilliantly well for a nation so small. In 17 years, they've got ODI status, Test status and ODI status now. So if they win the Under-19 World Cup, it'll just further boost the image of the game in that country. Kudos to them. And I'm rooting for the underdogs, even though India's in the equation.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tip Pakistan and Australia to make the finals, but we'll find out in the next few days.
Right. All right, so that's all from us here at Cricket Insights. We'll see you next week with an in-depth look at the IPL auction that is taking place at the moment as we speak. And we'll also preview the Hong Kong T20 Blitz, which gets underway from the 6th of February, running all the way to the 11th of February. So until next week, it's goodbye for now.